Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have another ranked game for you guys today. Of course, it was a 1v1 between myself and the First Lieutenant Ohana, so we are both First Lieutenants matching ranks, and that makes it usually a very interesting game from what I've seen. Of course, people move up and down ranks every once in a while playing ladder, that's just how it goes, but I was hoping to be on a bit of an upward trend, and that of course means I need the win here. If I can get it, I make captain. If I don't, then probably not so much. So I'm starting off with two CVs, one toward Delta, one toward Charlie. We're playing Eurocore again, and most of my ranked games these days will be Eurocore. It's a 1v1 deck that I'm decently comfortable with, which is odd considering I'd never even touched Eurocore before about a month and a half ago, and now it's what I use for ranked. But I'm going for the Bravo reach around, as it were, and this clearly does not win the game for me quickly. We have a full, long game for you guys today. I do hope you enjoy. And if you like this sort of thing, please don't hesitate to leave a like, share, subscribe, all that YouTuber nonsense that I, of course, have to ask for, especially after a couple months that have been, well, the slowest months that I've had since complete obscurity and only about 20 subscribers total back in, oh geez, July of last year. So, yeah, it's been a slow couple months, but this is a hobby. I love it. I really enjoy making these vids, posting these videos, playing these games with people, and just enjoying the heck out of a really old game that is just really wonderful, and I think doesn't really show its age, because so many new games just don't have the quality that even this admittedly flawed game does. Now, my opponent, Ohana, which does of course mean family, and means that nobody gets left behind, is moving in for a 2-point push into Charlie, really aggressive push. Recently I was asking about, does this ever work, because I hadn't seen it work, and we're about to see if that changes for me. Reservist MX-13 VTTs, but my Milan 2 was turned off. I let him come in, and that's a side shot on the H.A. Abrams. Nice way to start off the game with a pretty expensive kill. Of course, it's not the end of this push. There's riflemen, there's boxes here, but my own reservists will do decently well just for soaking up damage, and the 13 VTTs are of course better than the M113A3s. Now, losing the VBL Mistral up on the high ground, not so great, and he did anticipate my, well, to put it nicely, flanking strategy, so this is not all smooth sailing. I'm trying to micro all this stuff, but it does of course mean that he now knows I'm here, which often the benefit of this sort of strategy is it's surprise. If your opponent doesn't anticipate it, doesn't respond to it well, then you really lock down all of Bravo, but if he does, then it's possible just to have the Red 4 player move over into Bravo, it's of course a short reinforcing lane, and really fend you off pretty well. Now, I called in a Cassiope, and I've really been enjoying these guys. I saw on Boot Camp a friend of Maurice, who's a French national deck player, use these a lot, and I figured, what the heck, I'll give it a try. We'll see what we can do with them, and the autocannon is surprisingly impactful. Now, we do also get a kill on the pivots right before this thing goes down, and that as well, drawing out your opponent's anti-air into bad positions where they can get shot at, is one of the other benefits of that sort of thing. Now, this starting engagement was really beautiful, but there is a flaw. There is a reason this game goes to full time, and that is this particular deck does not have the Prevail. I rely on the rolling 3s, I rely on the VBL Mistral, which is usually very good, and of course Commander Marine here fighting decently well in the forest. We also take down Blackhawk on that side with the VBL Mistral, at least I think we do. Ooh, 2 for 2 misses. What is it with me and missing with these things all the time these days? It has the same stabilizer as it does accuracy, but it took 4 shots to take down that helicopter, leaving only 2 in the barrel, and this will be very important later on, so just keep that in mind. Those misses can add up really at the worst of times. Commander Marine, of course, will shoot through Rifleman 90, and at 15 points, compared to the 35 of the Commander Marine, I do enjoy getting a couple of kills there, if I can get them. Now, a couple of boxes, and these guys are, of course, just 5 points, but the LRAC F1 is enough to take them down because of, oh geez, I forgot these guys have 3 frontal armor. Yeah, okay, it's not enough to take them down in one shot. That's gonna be tough. Ooh. How did that work? 19 AP power, 3 frontal armor. I know the breakpoint for 2 is 16 heat. It could be the breakpoint for 3 is 19. I'll have to look at that. There are tables for this sort of thing, but it's a little obscure if you're not looking at that directly. And I have no smoke. If you remember the last ranked game I played, I pushed it to a 4 without smoke. I'm not willing to make that mistake again, not willing to make that decision again. But while I can get a couple of expensive kills, we are just going to take them, and at this point I'm probably up by, I'd say, maybe about 150-200 points in kills, which is maybe a bit of a generous estimation, but I felt very good about it, and of course I'm being a sneaky bugger with the AMX-10RC and the VBL Mistral around to my opponent's base. He does see me though, So there's a recon helicopter hanging out in his base. It did catch, I think, the AMX-10RC, and should be moving over there to engage shortly. Yeah, very shortly. And now I'm just saying, okay, well, we have the Flux Milan here, we have Commando's Pair, we have the Martyr 2. Whenever I do that push around the side, I tend to take a defensive posture here. And we do take down the Cobra, which is very nice. So, of course, now the VBL Mistral is completely out of ammunition. And that flaw I was mentioning earlier, I have no truly long-range anti-air, and that's a Longbow. My opponent is, I think, just playing US National. I haven't seen Canadian units to my knowledge so far. And this thing is deadly. I can't outrange it either. 2,800 meter range missiles in the Longbow, and I have no Crotal. So I have to figure out a way to deal with that, and it's going to be messy. So I was thinking to myself, okay, well, the best way to deal with this right now, as soon as I see that Longbow, is just go take ground before he can get over here, before he can really feel comfortable with that. He has to risk my anti-air, he has to be wary of that, he has to be sitting there thinking, okay, where is the well, Evan Legatus anti-air forces here, and my Roland 3 should be moving up. So a little bit of an oversight, should be pushing up to probably about here to cover this really well, maybe even there, to really just make sure that the Longbow, if he pops over this ridge, will be getting smacked as well. I just didn't expect him to be coming in right away because of the kills that we got on the well, on Ohana's forces early on. Sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied today, but there it is. There's the Longbow coming right down over the pipe. I had a 2A4, I had a 2A1. They're going to be backing up right away, and there's the Roland 3 finally moving. So this is still just, it's a little rough. I match distance with them, 2,800 meter range, and of course the Longbow ripple fire, so 2 missiles, fire and forgets. My own Roland 3 is fire guided. So my missiles are straight worse than his. I think the accuracy is competitive as well, depending on veterancy. We'll see. Probably should have been moving up in golf, probably should have been sending some infantry over there as well, but I wanted Foxtrot. I tend to find if you can get into this section of woods, if you can get into that section of woods, make this little band around the river, well, I guess lake here, pond, lake, river. Ah, such serene scenery. If you can make that yours, it's really hard for the currently red 4, although it's blue 4 faction, side of the board to get any sort of leverage back in. Now we are going to speed things up as there's a little bit of detente here, moving up some reservists, moving up some other forces, but I'm being really cagey with the leopards because that Longbow pops in and I just lose them. So I needed other ways to deal with it. I was thinking, you know, do I buy a Tiger Hap here? But we saw a Chaparral moving over. There's another H.A. Abrams as well, and Ohana is having some nice cautious play, building up his forces, making sure he's not, you know, rushing into anything too quickly. And this is making me really nervous. So I figured, okay, we'll call in a Mars. Usually you don't see the Mars in 1v1, you'll see the César, and there's good reason for that. The cluster here is not the most tightly packed. We did actually kill a Chaparral. I didn't know what it was at the time, but that's the Chaparral. If I'd zoomed in, I would have been able to see it, but the HA only took a couple units of damage and then is going to be moving back. So still 7 strength there. If I engaged with the 2A4, we probably would have gotten the kill, but my own 2A4 wasn't at full strength either after that first engagement here, and I didn't have the wherewithal to heal him up quite yet. Of course, I could have bought some resupplied trucks, probably should have, but I'm trying to get a cap in golf, getting some screening forces with reservists around the side to make sure, because I didn't block this off, that my opponent isn't sneaking through. And then I really want to cap on Foxtrot as well, because of course I have lost all my forces over on this side. That means Bravo is effectively going to be owned by my opponent. There's not really much I can do about that. Here's the engagement though. 2A4 getting close enough to shoot. 2A1 is inefficient at this range against the 20 armor of the H.A. Abrams. And I just, yeah, we're pulling back. We took a little bit of a beating there. Of course, 19 frontal armor versus 20. The 2A4 is a bit more vulnerable. Although I think the HA just wins that fight in a vacuum. Not really sure. But the cluster was going in for round 2. A little bit of a swing and a miss. I targeted this right here, and the dispersion in those last couple of shots was a little rough for me. So we're going to be moving. We're going to be resupplying there. We also have Mencop 1 6x6 moving up to resupply these tanks. And there is the Longbow behind my opponent's forces. So he's just probing me a little bit. Rifleman 90, M113A3s, M1 Abrams, which of course is not the world's most expensive tank. 65 points, 15 frontal armor, decently good defensive tank. And that's all he really needs right now. He's just figuring out where a couple of my things are, getting those nice shots in, trying to pull me out of my comfortable position here. So he needs a couple good engagements to really get back in the game. I am taking at +1, nearly 100 points to his 0. We're 30 minutes left in this. If I can keep that sort of great, then we'll be good. If I can't, then it will turn into a bit of a who can grind out the other player. But right now I'm sitting there thinking about it going, okay, this should be fine as long as I keep my head, as long as I keep my cool, as long as I figure out some way to deal with still advancing and dealing with that longbow popping up. Almost guarantee it the moment I don't want it to. So 1390s are a nice way to deal with this. They're going to screen out a lot of those boxes. They're going to screen out a lot of the infantry. There's the longbow. And I did bring out a Peace Rhine. Now, my Peace Rhine, that was just an M1 Abrams. I thought it was the HA. So I thought I got a much better kill than I did. But at least it was something, and we got out for free. Plus, Peace Rhines can dive longbows, but because my Peace Rhine got out for free, it's no longer here to dive the longbow. My rolling 3 is too far away. I'm losing 1390s in the open. And we did also lose the 2A4, which really hurts. It's 130 points worth of kills there, and that longbow is just dancing around my lines, stripping away so many points. He just paid for himself right there. 180 points of kills off of that longbow's single little in and out, because I don't have one unit in this deck that can outrange him. And that right there is going to paint the picture of pretty much the rest of this fight. I mean, I bought a Cassiope. I was just going to say, hey, maybe he'll think it's a tiger, maybe he'll think it's something that can deal with that longbow. We're going to stay back here, hopefully out of range from being completely identified. Also just clustering in, there was nothing there. I tend to cluster in 1v1s, the positions that I take in 2v2s. It's not really the world's most effective thing, but at least it does send a little bit of a message for, hey, get out of here. We're going to be making your life annoying, because I was trying to keep this thing firing and repositioning as quickly as I could. Just to say, hey, you can't sit anywhere for too long. If you do, you're gonna not enjoy what you get. So, Commando's Para on this side, Martyr 2 on this side, we did get shot at. I think I lost one of the Martyr 2s. No, same one. Just took a little bit of damage. But losing the Cassiope on this side says, well, it said to me anyway, I can't rely on helicopters to do the work that ground-based anti-air should be doing. It's times like these I wish I was playing something mechanized and had man-pads, just infantry that can shoot at helicopters, because you bring them up with you, you scooch them up when you advance, and they really screen things out beautifully well. 2A1 looking to take an engagement here against an M1 Abrams. I figured that was nice. There's the longbow. 280 points worth of kills as he double taps my 2A1. This guy is single-handedly putting this game on his back for Ohana. And after the initial trading, that's really kind of hurtful. Peace Rhine's looking for the dive. We get stunned. We got one hit off on him, but there's also heavy anti-air, and so I've added to the tally. I've thrown a Peace Rhine in, didn't get the kill on the longbow, actually didn't even hit him once, and that longbow, while it didn't kill the Peace Rhine directly, has been instrumental in 380 points worth of losses. 380. Just think about that for a second. That's a third of your opener. It's slightly more than a third of your opener. And one unit buy from Ohana was instrumental in that. So some units can just be so impactful, it's insane. And used incorrectly, they can be so impactful against you as well. It's just the tides of war in this game can swing so brutally. So brutally, it's insane. So at this point I'm sitting there going, okay, I've lost both my heavy armor pieces, I have a Tiger Hap here, he at least has to respect that. Pivads is not going to be anywhere close enough to deal with him, at least that's my hope. Let's get up here into the woods on this side. I have a Vab there, I have more infantry moving up, Commando's Para, Legion 90. Again, not the best force fighters, probably should have done this with Martyr 2s and Panzergren 90, who are of course a bit better. They're Panzerfaust 3s in the woods, and I bought planes again. Usually when I'm buying this many planes, it's not a recipe for success, but I wanted the HA Abrams, I wanted to take out whatever was shooting at me with the long-range anti-air there, and the Tornado UCR takes out one, that was just the Pivads, and reveals a Patriot, so at least we know what it is, and we were able to get out with both planes. So that's another HA Abrams kill. We're not doing this for free. Most of my opponent's heavy armor has died in a fire, and if I want to win this game, I have to keep that up. It's not optional. It's not it would be nice if I could keep pressure up against his heavy tanks. It is a absolute requirement, because I cannot deal with his helicopters at all here. We're just going to go to 2. We're going to go actually to 3 just while things settle out again. We're both buying more stuff. I'm keeping the Mars firing as much as I can, and we're engaging with Rifleman 90 here. But there's an M1 Abrams in the back, and that's something that Legion 90 in the woods are not super well equipped to deal with. If I can double tap them, great. If I can't, we're going to have trouble, and the mortars coming in are potentially very impactful. If they can stun my Legion, if they can lower their morale, if they can make it easier through suppression for the Legion 90 to miss their shots, then that could turn from something good to really bad really quickly. M2A2 Bradleys, and I always overestimate how expensive these things are. They're just the 35-point versions. The recon versions are the ones that are truly expensive, and that you do always want to take out if you see them, just because they are that expensive. But M1 Abrams moving back, hoping to get a kill with the Milan too. But I think he will reach the trees, and there we go. So at this point, I probably should have tried to take the town. With a little bit of smoke on this section of forest, could have gotten almost certainly some Legion 90 and Babs over here, and that would screen out everything in the section of woods. It would prevent a retake on golf until the really late game, just very effectively, is what I was hoping to do. But the cluster at least should be getting a little bit of a message in of, hey, this is not safe either. It's one of those things, looking at this replay, I wish I'd gone for. But I can't really change that right now. I did know he had some stuff in there, but frankly, Legion and Vabs can handle Light Rifleman 90 just fine, so long as I keep my head about me. And here's what I mean about the Roland 3 is worse missiles. We got a hit, he got the kill, and my hap is too far back because I'm trying to stay away from things like chaparrals. Now, there is a command vehicle coming in for Ohana. He's only down by 119 points, having capped Bravo a little while ago, and if he caps Fox, I'm losing. If he caps Fox and caps Golf, that's a +2. And if I can't take that section of town, it's very likely that will be the case. The Peace Rhine's looking for either the Longbow, which was on 2 strength, or the M1 Abrams. We do fire at the M1 Abrams, and don't even get the kill, so only 1 missile connecting. There's the Patriot in the back, getting 1 shot away. Looks like he was maybe even reloading. Do get out, but that was very disappointing. I needed the M1 Abrams dead. I'm being picked apart on this side right now, and there's not much I can do about it. 2A4 coming up, Cassiope coming up, and this is the best I've got to deal with this. 2A4 has to deal with the 2 M1 Abrams without getting the ire of that Longbow, which at least for right now I should have a respite. Most players, when they have their Longbow that low, will take him back to base and heal him up. Not this guy. Just the second I thought that my 2A4 would have free reign, that Longbow is popping up over the ridge, looking at the 2A4. We're trying to inch our way out of it, keeping frontal armor facing against the Longbow and making sure to stay out of line of sight, which really is the only thing that's a surefire way of handling that. It's a little rough. It's not really where you want to be. And at least I had reservists here aplenty, and we do get 1 of those tanks. If nothing else, we have been able to take apart his armor decently enough to. And that adds up, right? Each one of those is 65 points. That's 130 points, if I'm not mistaken, of kills. At this point, I did need more base defense, by the way. This got targeted. It's very likely he was looking for a command vehicle there, or if he had any recon and saw it, didn't really know what it was. And this is important as well, too, because later on I do some guessing as to where my opponent's command vehicles are. This is not just one-sided. He kind of starts at first. He looked there, here. He's just looking for my command vehicle back home. So he's trying to get the kills. He's trying to make sure that I can't get anything for free. And because of the Vabs on the high ground, I think we did miss the kill there. We did kill the command vehicle that was headed up this way. Works for me. It's kind of necessary to keep Fox uncapped. He did, of course, get 17 ticks there, but 17 does not make up the difference right now. And this was pretty excellent too. So the Legion 90, 4 strength, 3 strength, 1 strength. Will they be able to fire? Will they take down the M1? And there it is. 1 man left in the Legion 90, 65-point tank kill. Yeah, they'll die. There's no way that they can fight against infantry at that sort of current strength. But we're just making it very expensive, and more importantly, we're slowing the game down. When you're ahead on tick, you can afford that, and of course, saying that now, we are behind on tick. But I do have some groupe de commandants. I don't really know how to pronounce that in French. I have a friend who is French Vietnamese, and he's the only reason that I think I say chasseur with anything approaching the correct pronunciation, but French pronunciation does not come naturally to me at all. So apologies in advance, I have no idea. I am very American. My pronunciation is American, even when I'm speaking other languages. It's just sort of how it is. Now, I was looking for command infantry, well, not infantry off the cluster. I was hoping for that command jeep over here. Dispersion, again, a little disappointing. But we fired, we're repositioning, we're going to rearm, we're going to refuel, and we will be firing in again. So it's not over quite yet. And if I can keep this capped on my end and then occasionally push up into Fox and clear his out, that will win me the game. It's just a matter of, can I do that consistently with the Longbow here? Because this will pick apart anything I send up to the high ground. And it's really kind of just depressing to think about that, because, I mean, I'm not really sure what I would have done. Right, if you think about the Gepard, Gepard has the radar gun at 2800 meter range. and it has the shorter range stinger that's non-radar. The shorter range stinger doesn't help me out here, so I was hoping maybe the Cassiope will be able to get the longbow. There is a Nighthawk coming in as well, and I don't have enough anti-air up yet, so that does connect. Takes down a Panther of all things, a little goofy, but I don't know, I was just hoping. Cassiope has 6 strength, Longbow had 6 strength remaining, I believe, at the time of that first engagement, and don't quite get it. So, Longbow's gun, more effective than my own, at least in that instance, plus we took a little bit of fire from farther back, but we did also get a little bit of a glimpse at what my opponent had up on the high ground, which, never underestimate that. Even if you can't do anything about it right now, it does tell you a little bit about your opponent, about what he's bringing in, about what that position looks like. It tells you, in effect, how you can push it potentially, even if not right at that moment. But this is a mistake. 2A4 is moving up, trying to get the kill. There's the longbow coming back. I'm bursting out. Ooh, no, that's a Blackhawk. My opponent's probably faking me out right now pretty effectively here. Plus he saw the 2A4 and made me flinch, right? So try not to blink, try not to flinch, but also try to have cautious play. It's a little bit of an enigma and not always possible to do. And again, the cluster's just looking for a command jeep that I thought would be over here. We'll see if it is. We'll see if it's not. There's the Hap. 3 Mistrals used to kill the Blackhawk, which of course means that I only have 1 left for that longbow if he's in the area. And this is my push up top. So it's a 2A4. It's 130 points there. 1390. 1390. 3 of them just to get as much recon as I can. And rate of fire to kill infantry and any sort of IVs that we see. There's the command jeep taken down. Of course, it's only about 100, 110 points, depending on which jeep it is. And the longbow does have line of sight. There goes the enemy radar anti-air, though. And unfortunately, my Peace Rhine was stunned. Otherwise, we very well could have killed the longbow. But at least we got something. Peace Rhine did go down. 2A4 went down. But it wasn't for free. So Foxtrot is ours. We're taking +1, 127 points, and counting, against 30 for my opponent, and this really just broke my heart. So Martyr 2s and Panzergren, that's what I wanted to get up here. I wanted Panzergren on the right side, on the left side, locking this down, using those Panzerfaust 3s, but there goes the second Martyr 2, and between the Longbow's Hellfires and the M230, everything here just dies. The kill list on this Longbow is absurd. We're reaching nearly 600 points worth of kills on that Longbow. Just think about that when we see the kills and losses for this game later on. It's just... oh, crazy. Crazy, crazy stuff. And my rolling 3s, losing line of sight, losing any vision, are going to have a rough time getting the kill. That was not the Longbow. This is the Longbow, 1 missile away, not both, because I was moving, and believe it or not, here to here was out of range. So with the attack move, my other Roland kept moving farther out of range, and I couldn't get the second missile online, which, that could have been the kill. I would have happily traded both the Roland 3s for that kill if I could. M1 Abrams, M113A3s, just USA doing USA as best they can, taking advantage of all of those losses. The counter push, very effective here, and it's a tactic you'll see a lot because it works. Make your opponent expend his own strength, and then deal with him later on if you can. Also V150 trying to be sneaky over there. We do see him just for the minute, but maybe not forever. And this is desperation. Throwing the Mencott 1 6x6 into an M1 Abrams, hoping they slow down enough to shoot it or cap it or anything like that, and not deal with me as my group de commandant are just over here, inches away from them. One Abrams, I could deal with them very quickly, and my only hope is Legion 90. So I thought to myself at this point, you know what? I'm tired of losing expensive tanks to a helicopter I can't kill. Let's use Legion. Let's use those Erixes. If I can hold on to the low ground here, that's just fine with me. Let's get these guys up and into position, and well, that's all good until there's a Nighthawk. But fortunately for us, the Nighthawk does have 0% ECM. That's going to be 1 hit, second time that guy gets out, but at least he's damaged. It will take him a little longer to come back. Of course, V150 moving in, and I don't see him until... well, I saw him over here. I thought I got the kill, and then we got a lucky kill there as well, so he doesn't quite get in and see everything. Not even sure he saw my fob. If he did, he didn't kill it, which, you know, kudos to you for that. That's gentlemanly play, shall we say. Reservist spam and Vabs, and I have nothing here to kill the M1 Abrams, so we're going to be moving up with 10 RC, 2A4, coming in a little bit late to the party here, but I really need to close, and at the very least, this will take a long time for Ohana to kill, because as good as that longbow has been, yet again, between today's cast and the recent one against, oh, who was the Blue Dragons player? Time to Go Home, I think it was. We get good trades when I stay on the ground and stay in strictly ground-to-ground engagements, usually anyway. And that was my hope here, was just, you know what, okay, if you're going to bomb my Legion, if you're going to send in M1 Abrams, if you're going to do all this sort of stuff, fine, I'll buy another 2A4. I'm not buying Leclerc though, and I'm trying to figure out something that works, because nothing here has worked to my satisfaction so far. There's the Longbow, healed up again, now he's at elite veterancy, and I was trying to get the Tigers and Stingers online. We're going to see, there's the aiming on that, maybe? Yeah, no, backing out, because of the Chaparral. Not far enough, so it's one shot, swing and a miss, Chaparral second shot, swing and a miss. We have taken at least one hit though, and down he goes. My Tiger's gone, should have kept him back here, didn't. ECR's going in, and I don't even know why I sent this guy in at this point, to be frank with you. I mean, I guess Hilo Hunter is the AIM-9Ls, but it's such a bad use of that plane, and I really wish I had 150 more points on the ground right now. The 2A4 takes a side shot from an M1 Abrams of all things. This should not be a kill that the M1 Abrams gets, and if he keeps closing it won't be a kill that he gets, but that was better lucky than good. That shot could have well killed us. We had 1 point of strength left, and yep, next one gets him. 65 point tank, and because of a side shot, I lose my own 130 pointer. Just, that really hurts. Of course, we might give it back here, but I think, yeah, shooting at the Rangers. So, you know, we had the game plan to win. Game plan to win was keep Fox contested to mine, if I can. And now it looks like Ohana is just going to take it for his own. He's even challenging my 2-pointer again. That M1 Abrams is going to get a side shot from the AMX-10RC, but I think, depending on my targeting priority here, depending on my micro, yeah, that could have ended up pretty bad. And the Cassiope moving over is a desperation move at best. So, yeah, there goes the Groupe de Commandant, and that means Ohana now has a +1, taking from Foxtrot control. What do you do in a situation like this, right? I'm really tempted to ask for just comments on how you would have played this differently, starting from maybe about 15 minutes ago. How do you get, without the right tool, without the Kratal, to take down that Longbow? How do you prevent this from happening? Because clearly I don't know how, and I'm always interested in learning, getting a little bit better, and maybe making captain off of it if I can play a bit cleaner of a game, which is not to say who wins this quite yet. It's not over and done. I try my best not to surrender unless it's truly a lost cause, and at this point, keep in mind, it's 165 points to 48. We did also potentially scare away a command vehicle there, except it doesn't quite look like it, and I have time. There's only 10 minutes left in the game. My opponent needs about 7 minutes of +1 tick, and that's not something that I intend to give him. And I will deny this to him any way I possibly can, if it's within my power to do so, because it's a ranked game. The point is not to be genteel, the point is to win, and yeah, I'm not going to go around saying, oh, this justifies helo rushes, this justifies unsportsmanlike play, anything like that. What I'm saying is, within the bounds of civility, don't give your opponent an inch, because they won't give the same to you. We've seen a Nighthawk come in, we've seen M1 Abrams, we've seen a Longbow I have nothing to counter, just repeatedly coming in and getting so much value it's absurd. My opponent is clearly not pulling any punches either. He even had a base sneak around a Delta, so yeah, you do that. Sure, I did it first with Alpha, but clearly we're both comfortable with that sort of thing. So, we'll do what we can. Legion 90 moving up without any sort of reservist chaff, because the reservists are still moving in. But with the long-distance mini-me's, with the Leopard 2A1 here barely getting out alive from some small riflemen, and then all of these reinforcements, I thought, okay, let's gather another push, let's go back on the ground, let's try and do this again, because of course the 4th time is the charm, right? If it doesn't work the first 3, maybe that Longbow won't be as effective the 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th, but there he is, shooting more of my reservists, killing them in their 5-point buckets. Just, that really ground my gears. ECR is looking for the Longbow kill. We get 1 missile away, and promptly get taken down. Now that wasn't even radar. We did kill the Patriot a fair bit of time ago. That was just a Chaparral. Singular Chaparral, maybe a second one in the back as well, but yeah, now I've lost my ECR, I have no more anti-radar tools, the Longbow is still at half health. It does look like he's getting him out of dodge this time around, which I do understand, at least keeping him farther back, because if you've seen another plane by, he can probably land that guy before my plane gets there, or at least make sure he's not spotted, so that's not really as possible if he comes forward, but maybe I'm eating my words here. Let's see. This, by the way, M13A3, great play here from Ohana. Just, if you think you can exploit with anything at all, do it, and this is a classic place to do it, because most blue 4 players won't have much right here. If you push them out right there, go on that diagonal, take this section of woods, cut off their reinforcement route in here. If you can, get something over on this side, cut off their reinforcement route to Gulf. Do everything you can to get the advantage if you have a gap. That's just how the game is. So, Martyr 2 is moving forward. I need something to handle the infantry push here. I need something to handle APCs, IFVs, all of that. And my 2A1 is being extremely cagey, down to less than half health. There's a man count 1 6x6. I should be healing him up right here. But we're just showing a PH2 Tiger. We're showing what tools we have at our disposal and saying, hey, stay away. Get that Longbow outside of my Tiger's stinger range if you want him to live. And now I have to deal with all this as well. So there's infantry through here, there's boxes, there's 7 minutes left, and I'm only up by about 65-70 points. And finally, the cluster does look like it's going to make an impact. There was a little impact marker there, more cluster coming in, and finally, 1 on position. We do stop that +1 tick, and this is pretty crucial. So there's only about 3 minutes left of tick that I can give my opponent at +1 before he just wins the game. Nighthawk, by the way, coming in for his 3rd run, does get taken out by Roland 3. Finally, that Roland 3 punishing my opponent's airplay. And my 2A1 did survive, so really could have been worse for us. We did lose the Panzer Grand 90, but oh man, it's rough. ACGM's at short range, by the way, which I guess that's not ACGM's, that's going to be the Light Rifleman 90, which aren't quite as effective, but yeah, it was scary nonetheless. I don't want to lose the Martyr 2, I don't want to lose the 2A1. 2A1, of course, is not healed up. My micro is so stressed right now that Uncaught 1 isn't moving over to heal up these guys while they are stationary, which of course is the way that you want to do it, and I actually leave the Rifleman 90 at 1 strength. So if nothing else, as a sign of how stressed my micro was, there it is, I left these guys alive. Now the reason I did it was to get line of sight on the Light Rifleman, get the Sneb rocket pods online where I could. We actually fired backwards, took out the Rifleman. Then now we're looking at the Light Rifleman 90 a little bit late. But we do at least get a stun, we do at least get some damage in. These guys aren't the most accurate either, so if you can panic them, they're going to be missing more often than not, just because of how morale impacts that sort of base accuracy calculation. Now, singular riflemen, singular rangers, M1 Abrams, all this sort of stuff, I got the feeling just about now my opponent is similarly desperate to me, which at least is some small saving grace, and we're going to do something interesting here. So I have Vabs. These are, I believe, Commando Marine coming forward in the Vabs. They're not Legion 90 this time around. I don't need that long-range punch. I need better woods fighters. And the Commando Marines are them. We get a little lucky these riflemen missed, but now we have 35 point, 15 strength elites moving forward, and I thought to myself, okay, if I can't get this back, which I'm not sure that I can, that Longbow has just been living in this lane left to right here, then maybe I can cap it on this side. Navy SEALs, a little lucky to run into them with the Vabs first. We should be able to take them out decently well. And if I can clear this out, I can cap right here and just hold on to this, because with 5 minutes left, my opponent needs 3 minutes of +1. He needs to get this done quickly. And there's my Panther with command infantry. If I can deny this to him, even 2 minutes, even just 2.5 minutes more, then that would either be a tie or a win. I'll take the draw at this point, frankly. Just, oh man, I'm really tempted to put the Kratal back in the deck after this game. It was so devastating not having it, and sure, that doesn't justify the rest of my decision making as well, but I don't know, it really is just a really powerful tool, and you know, not having those tools can straight lose you games. So here it is, my Mars is looking not at the Foxtrot 1-pointer, but at Echo's 2-pointer, and I noticed that my opponent was using command jeeps quite a lot. So all we're doing here is looking for a command jeep. There's the cluster, there's the jeep, there's the kill, and that's a +1 for us right now with 4 minutes left in the game, 166, and we're increasing +1. This, of course, did not make my opponent happy, and I don't blame him. It was kind of rude. We finally do get a shot in, and did take down the Longbow. So that tool is finally gone. With nearly 4 minutes left, it is possible for Ohana to replace it, but at least right now we have a little bit more freedom. Commander Marine moving up, trying to make sure that nothing's coming through here. I need to keep this safe. I need to keep my Crypto Commandant here safe as well, and the Commander Marine should clear out that M163. Very nice right there. As soon as these Phoenix Script get in, we actually go up to a +2 just for right now, which, I mean, there's no winning a game like by the skin of your teeth, is there? Some of my favorite games that I've played have been just brutal 40-minute games, slogs, where, frankly, both people can learn something at the end as well. I definitely figured out a weakness in the stack in every single game that I play against USA. I'm going to be thinking about it. I'm going to be thinking about what I can do differently, how I can stay alive here where I didn't before. Nice kill on the Chaparral, Fiona's group, but do lock this down. We're up to a +2 tick, 3 minutes left in the game, and even if Echo is recapped, even if I lose Foxtrot now, and my opponent gets a +1 tick, there's just not enough time left in the game for him to get the win there. That's 35 points worth of +1 tick. If he gets that, sure, with Echo recapped, it is a possibility, especially because there's Small down here, there's Riflemen. Small will punch above their weight, usually if there's groups of 2 or 3, but even against 1v1 Commander Marine, these Small will do a fair bit of damage. Really annoying to deal with. And yeah, artillery coming in now. The ferocity with which I defended here, I'm not actually sure if my opponent saw my command infantry there, but it's also a reasonable guess. Usually people will guess back here, but I don't think that was anything untoward. I think that was just from what he saw. He might see the Panther there and think, okay, well that probably carried the Commandant, and he actually does countercap Golf, so this I didn't expect. He does have a +1. He actually has the potential for a +2 if he can clear either one of these Führungsgruppe or the Commandant. And here's the bomber, F-15D Eagle, 4,000 kilogram bombs right for my group to Commandant, and I don't move them out of dodge. Actually, here's the interesting thing. I thought I did, right? But even though they're to the right, they're still showing that they're in that town block. And yeah, I don't know what that was about. I think if I just left them there for half a second longer, that would have been fine. And I didn't, and yeah, it's rough. But we do have a minute 26 left in this game. I'm going to go up to speed 2, we get the Cobra. Finally, the rolling threes are taking advantage of probably of my opponent's desperation more than anything else here, just to try and get these last couple kills. We clear out an M1 Abrams, and with this, Foxtrot at least will not be capped again. Now, it's just so nervous. The +2 tick for a minute. It's 30 points. I thought this might be a draw. I think we do get the win here, but jeez, if it wasn't close. If not for that decap of Echo, and if not for my just complete mistake there with the group to Commandant and Golf, I don't really know which way this one would have turned. Of course, you do clear out the command vehicle and Foxtrot there, but it's only for the last couple of seconds of the closing end of that match, and that is going to be a victory. So, I'm not going to spend really time on the standout units because it was a really long game, but I do have to say, the Mars probably came in clutch there. We killed 2 command jeeps, took away my opponent's tick at just the right time. I'm not sure if a Caesar could have done that as well, but we used the tool we had, we used it well, we got the points that we needed to right at the last second, and that can swing those close games. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.